Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm starting engines. I've been avoiding it like the plague, trying to do other bits and pieces on the bikes, but as you can see they're pretty much ready to receive the engine now. So what I'm doing is just doing all the cleanups, checking to see whether I've got any parts missing, and so we're gonna get through this. We're nearly there. Then it's just the plastics. Yeah, stick along. Let's see what's missing and what's broken. I've already got a big problem with bike number 3's crank. I sent it away because it was rough, and they came back to me and said to me, unfortunately it was toast, and the seal, one of the end seals, the big end seals, would not have been able to keep the pressure inside the crankcase because it was pitted, and also the big end bearing pitting was a problem. So I looked everywhere. I contacted my good friend at Widowmaker Trader Martin, who is actually willing to send me an entire engine, a 1981 engine, to strip and use the parts for, even though he was going to sell it as a whole engine, which is typical of the guy. So I'm very grateful, Martin. But what happened was the engineer firm came back to me and said to me that they were able to regrind the end, re-chrome that sleeve bit, and give me a reduced 17mm sleeve on the end. So he's saving that crank for me now. It's not going to be cheap, but this is what happens when you're working with bikes like this. There's very few spare parts around. But we're not too far. I've spent a bit on this, but I think it's been worth it. These bikes look pretty amazing as far as I'm concerned. I think they look great, right down to all the wheel spokes and everything. If you remember, if you've been following the series, you'll see in the final docu of this whole build just how much work has gone into this bike, these bikes. Would I do 3 again together? I don't know. Certainly not as difficult doing 3 as I thought, because you just, once you learn on the first one, you go on the second one, and it's super quick and easy on the third one. It's just finding spare parts. That's been probably the big challenge, because they are so limited now. And as you've seen before, how I've had to make parts which I never thought I could make or would be able to make. But so far so good. So let's have a look at the engine. Let's get into it now, and I'll see you on the other side. As opposed to taking you through another rebuild of engines you've probably seen 100 times, I just want to show you where I am. I've had all the stuff in a box for some time, and you might be surprised, some of you that don't do mechanical work. And you look at guys who do mechanical work, think, oh, they know what they're doing. But there's so many different variants of different engines and so on, particularly if you're not working on the same model, that you completely forget which parts go where, the washers, all that kind of stuff, particularly around these areas. So what I've done here is I've just taken out one engine for now, and I'm going to get my chops together on this one. And once I've got it all sorted, then those engines over there should be a lot easier. But I think this one I'm doing now was whole when I pulled it apart. So anything that's missing, I'm not going to go thinking, do I really need it? Is it supposed to be there, or what? So this one is a fairly complete engine with some new parts, some new clutch plates, and some other bits and pieces that I need. That's why I wanted to do all this stuff out of the way, all those fiddly little jobs which you've been seeing in the last few series, so that I can focus on the engine. So like all things on these old bikes, there's more stripped threads to deal with. Got the sizes all here, so should be fairly quick. The last part of the suspension is fitting these new bearings. There's no mount or it's that time where we're going to check for spark. Oh yes. Fantastic. Okay, let's get close to actually testing this engine. I want to see what sort of compression we've got here. There's a lot of compression.
I mean, now it's like, you know, you can't not hear it.
It's one of those new cables again, just don't work. A lot of progress done today on the engine, and the learning curve is really steep. I'm not sure where this is supposed to go. We're going to figure it out. Go and look at some photos. Maybe this has got a clip on it or something. You can see some of the lovely stuff that I noticed here. This cable I put in after I put this down. I was just wondering what stops it from getting real close to that. And that's what it is, I'm pretty sure. I'll go and check the photos. Then another thing that really gets me concerned is this tiny gap here between the edge of the expander box and the stud. It's pretty tight, but that's all in. I put a spacer, steel spacer in between the rubber grommets to stop it from collapsing in. So that's on nicely now. Cable is in and routed, carb is in. I've checked the jets on this, and then I'll check them against the other jets that I've got on the other carbs, just to make sure whenever one gives me trouble and the other one is good, then I know which one's got the right whatever jet. So that's the luck of having three. This I had to make a plan here because I don't have this bolt. I might still order one if I've got enough funds left for this project. But it is in solid now. There's no movements. So that's good, and it's good. This bike's got a lot of compression. So I'm really happy with that. And we've got spark. What's there not to like? Right, let's get on with this tomorrow. So back on the case, this is how it goes. It goes around the other way. And it's clipped onto that side, which cleverly is connected to this bolt, which comes around the edge here. Just out of the way of everything. Very clever design.
French is anything like that?
There's a couple, but it's going to stay going all the time.
Right, this is the nervy part, just to see whether the radiator will hold fluid and also whether the pump seals are working. So what I've done is I've taken the drain plug out. I haven't put any oil in the gearbox. And the reason is that if there is a leak in the water, I haven't contaminated the new oil. So if it is leaking, water will drain out of the sump plug and we can just dry it out and we carry on going till we sort out whatever's wrong with the seals on that. So let's see if this works. So the seal is not working. All right, plan B. So you can see all the lime scale stuck in those little vents there. So I'm going to put white wine vinegar in. We'll go 50-50 with that. See how we go. The bowl is full. Right. Next step. Let's go to the magic 1.5. So that's half, 1.5. Sounds good. That's bike number 1. That engine sounds really good. There are a few little things, obviously, that you need to do to make sure it's all running fine. The water is an issue, but I'll deal with that in the next cycle of work on the engine. This one, I'll do a little bit of a heat soak now because it's running, so why not? Sounds really good. I really miss this sound. Kill switch works now. That's right. few things to do. But on the whole, the engine, nothing's going wrong there. So what I'm going to do now is take that back, and I'm going to check to see if I've got any water in the oil. Sounds really nice, and I'm really enjoying hearing that silencer that I made. It sounds just peachy, man, nice and crackly. Yeah, I forgot how much I love the sound of the 125. It's got its own sound. Oh yes, yes. There's no water in there at all. That means something here is not great. So I'll take this out, see if it maybe is the nut that goes on the end where there is a block, a seal and a rubber washer which stops any water from going into the first seal. So that's the area that I'm going to concentrate on now. Let's have a look and see. It's where water goes down. It's quite a crazy system actually. The only other problem I can see is this little ridge here that runs, which could allow water in. I put in a new seal there because I think it could be the water was running in between there and coming out this side. I've also flushed this off. Then that's the last resort. Then I'm going to have to pull this case off and look at the shaft. But the shaft itself is not, the water is not coming through the shaft enough to go into the oil. So that's normally the worn side. So we'll see. Let's try this. I've decided to do bike number 3 second. The reason is simple. The crankshaft is still with the engineering firm being repaired. So I'll see you on the other side.